I want to talk about the ultimate plan that Trump and Musk and Project 2025 have for us, ordinary people who aren't billionaires. And I'm not exaggerating when I say the ultimate plan they have for us is for us to die. That plan, having a policy that tries to make sure that people who aren't super rich die or die young, has a name that's been around for almost 200 years: social murder. And if you don't believe me, look at what Doge and Elon Musk did with the National Weather Service. Musk, Doge cut the National Weather Service right before tornado season in the South. And what's happening? People are now experiencing, in Kentucky, soon elsewhere, tornadoes without warning. And in Kentucky, people just died. The GOP is passing a budget basically created by Project 2025 that's going to cut Medicaid to such a degree that over 8 million people are going to lose their health care. What's going to happen? Yeah, people are going to die. Across the board, from workplace safety, food safety, air and water quality, everything's going to be degraded. More people are going to die. You and me. So why are they doing this? Which the Christian right, by the way, is 100% behind. Doesn't sound very Christian or moral to me to let people die. It's because they ardently believe that the role of government exists simply to make wealthy people even wealthier. Regulations and rules that allow you and me to live a little longer, that's not part of their equation. And we know long-term it has never been part of their equation because Americans flat out don't live as long as their counterparts in Western Europe. And in fact, our lifespans have been declining. The goal of Trump and Musk and Project 2025 is to make sure by policy that you and me don't live as long when we're no longer of use to them as young, able-bodied workers. Off we go. So why are people voting for this? Voting for their lives being shorter and shorter every year. Because the billionaire class has been successful at distracting the working class by saying, don't worry about that. Don't worry about the fact that you're not going to live as long. There are trans playing sports. Worry about that instead. And somehow we've got to wake people up. And that's not being woke. Wake people up to the fact that they have been conned.
The end goal of Trump's tax plan and the cuts to Medicaid, Medicare, the cuts across the board, the goal is to make poverty unsurvivable, right? They have taken away so much from the working class as a whole, especially people who are in poverty. And they have turned it to a point where no matter what, they keep trying to make it unsurvivable, but what they don't get, especially about people who have lived in impoverished areas, you learn to survive on nothing anyway, right? And yet, these people still exist every day. They're still pumping out people who can become well-educated, well-literate. It doesn't matter where you're from. You can get out still. And let me phrase that because I understand it's very difficult to, but what I'm saying is paths still exist for someone in poverty to get to college. That is what they hate. They don't want slum kids going to college. They don't want a black kid from the ghetto going to college. They don't want a white kid from rural buttfuck nowhere to go to college. They want these people to stay exactly where they are so they can keep milking them and abusing them, because when you understand that the pathway of getting out of poverty is by dedicating yourself to higher education of some kind, even trade work in a union apprenticeship, that is just as good as a scholarship. I have a bachelor's degree in sheet metal. That's the way I'm going to word it on every single one of my resumes, because I completed an apprenticeship program and became a journeyman through a national union. It's very apparent that the only thing they want to do now is to effectively kill off the disabled, the elderly, and the impoverished. There is zero other reason. Because here's the thing, even though the Medicaid cut, it's going to impact so much more than just people on Medicaid. It's going to impact healthcare as a whole, because hospitals also their healthcare uses Medicaid to help supplement its funding. Their end goal for poverty is to be unsurvivable and ungrowable. You're not going to be able to, I don't even know the word for it, but you're not going to be able to get out of poverty anymore. Especially with the changes with how much they're pushing for private school vouchers over public school, everything, they are going to make it where poverty is now inescapable. They want a caste system where when you are born poor, you will stay poor and go that way.